Hello,
Hello.
YouTube. Welcome back to yet another podcast. Amazing, right? It's been a week, I guess.
Finally.
We didn't upload
Yeah.
anything.
It's been a week, probably.
I mean, a video was supposed to go up right now. No, last week, and we didn't. So we are doing that now. The recording part of it is being done now. I've been rusty. She's been rusty.
We all have been rusty.
We all have been rusty.
It's time to put some oil.
Yes, let's get the wheels spinning.
Yes.
Alright, hopefully you guys are doing good before anything else.
Right.
And your love and support means a lot. So please do not forget. I was going to say please do forget, but please do not forget to hit that like. Algorithm is oiled by that. And so are we. Sounded wrong, but yeah.
Yeah, but please.
Hit that like. Subscribe if you're new around here, if you're old. Hey, what's up, pal? Welcome back home. And let's just oh, by the way, we've got these Reddit stories for you guys. And these ones are not from Let's Not Meet. That was apparently Andrew Tate's, and
I do what I want.
luckily we did not get any copyright claims in that. But this one is not from Let's Not Meet. These are from separate subreddits, so let's see how it is. I just randomly picked out,
handpicked by Diablo. So
yeah,
let's see how it
I
goes.
just went to Reddit. I was like, hey, interesting title. Save, and I was
Hopefully
I did not
it's
have the
scary
time.
enough or spooky enough.
Yeah, hopefully it's at least let it be like gripping enough, like you get it. Oh, by the way, this story was created on our anniversary.
Is it? Oh yes, it is.
I just noticed that.
Yes.
By the way, yeah,
By the way. Okay. So
Anyways,
do you want to
getting into the first story?
do the honors of reading the title?
Yeah, I cannot read anyway, so you're going to do it. So yeah, the honors of reading the title is mine anyway. So yeah, diving into the first story. I'm convinced my house is haunted. Sharon will do the honors of the
Let's
rest.
take it from here. We moved into our house about 7 years ago. Since we've been here, several things have happened that make me think we are not alone here. This is one of the first. I was in the basement one day, digging through a closet to get to a tackle box for some fishing hooks. Our house is a split level, so the basement is only half underground, and enough light comes to the windows during the day that I normally don't turn on the lights when I go down there. I found the hooks I was looking for and set them on a table by the closet. As I was putting the tackle box back, I must have caught the edge of the hook box and it fell to the floor.
Floor.
I have no idea why, but okay. And it fell to the floor, spilling all over. I bent over to start picking them up, and just as I did, the light in the basement turned on. At first, I didn't think it was paranormal. I thought my husband had come back home from work. It was close to the time he was expected. I thought he must have come home, found me downstairs, and saw me spill the hooks. So he turned on the light to help me see better. I even said thanks to him. When I heard no response, I called his name, and still no response. I went to investigate, and he wasn't home. I was alone with my dog. That light has never turned on before or since. The switch was flipped up, so something moved the switch to turn it on. The doors were still as closed and locked. I still don't know what caused the light to come on. Since then, a bunch of other things have happened. One time, I was upstairs cleaning. We have one of those Electrolux vacuums that isn't a normal upright vacuum. I don't know what the term is for them. It has a large button that has to be pushed in order for it to turn on. And once the main unit is on, there's a switch on the sweeper part that has to be turned on to start the rollers. I had just gotten done sweeping the stairs and I turned it off.
It's a Roomba.
It's a Roomba? I had just gotten done sweeping the stairs and I turned it off, but left the vacuum in the living room still plugged in because that was the next room to be done. I went down the hall to switch laundry and heard the vacuum start up. The dog was with me and we both turned to look at the vacuum at the same time. It was visible from where we were. There was nothing there, but the vacuum was on/running. It's never turned on before by itself and hasn't since. One time, my husband was home with me and I saw a figure. We had just gotten home from getting groceries and the plan was for me to get food and water for the dog bowls, and he was going to take some of the groceries to the basement. We keep our dog food canister in the basement in a little closet under the stairs, different closet than the hooks. I went down to get the dog food and I saw what I thought was my husband come down the stairs out of my peripheral vision. It came down the stairs, stood behind me for a second, then went towards where we kept the canned food in the basement. I got the food, then asked my husband, who I thought had just come downstairs, if there was more to bring down. No response. I ask again, thinking I just didn't hear him. No response. I go around the corner to where it went, and there was nothing there. I was alone in the basement. I take the dog food upstairs and find my husband, who is in the complete opposite end of the house. I asked him about being downstairs. He hadn't even walked downstairs yet. The kicker, my husband does not believe in ghosts, spirits, paranormal stuff. He always dismissed it, acted like I was crazy anytime something happened. Until this happened. He was home alone, other than the dog, and I was on the phone with him because I had just left work and had called to see if he needed anything. He was in the middle of a sentence and he just went silent. It scared me because I thought something happened to him. Then he tells me, "Hold on, someone's here." I thought that was strange because I didn't hear the dog bark. He comes back on the line and says, "I'm going to have to call you right back. I just saw someone at the door and I don't know where they went." I wait for the call back. He calls back. He went outside, checked the perimeter of the house, the outbuildings, the garage, nothing. He swears he saw someone in a flannel shirt walking outside the door, but there was no one there. We live in the middle of nowhere. Our closest neighbors are miles away, and there's nowhere someone could have hid as fast or easily as they did if it was a real person out there. The dog never acted like he saw anything at all. I occasionally smell cigarette smoke in one corner of the basement. It's the only place in the house that I've smelt it. We don't smoke, so it's pretty noticeable when I smell it. I never see any smoke. I've noticed a lot of other strange things in the house, but have always been able to debunk them as other things, and I actually thought I might have been going crazy seeing things until my husband saw it too. He now believes everything I've said and seen. The house isn't that old, was built in the 70s. We bought it from his family, and no one has passed away here that we are aware of. But there was a much older house on the property at one time that was demolished when this one was built. As a side note, I do not have normal hearing. I'm actually deaf on one side with normal hearing on the other, so it's normal for him to come home and be in the house without me hearing it, depending on which direction I'm facing and where I am at the house. It's part of the reason we got the dog. The dog alerts when anyone comes down in the driveway. I always keep the doors locked when I'm home alone. Do you think it's haunted, or am I crazy? Damn, that was a mouthful,
pretty
but...
intense story. It was a long one, but a pretty intense one.
Pretty intense one.
Although, it would be hectic, not being able to hear partially. Because I literally
Especially
had a
when
ear block.
things like these are going on in the house.
Exactly. And I'm pretty sure, I remember you telling me that even you had a ear block week or two back.
Mm-hmm.
And you couldn't hear things on one side properly.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and 2 to 3 years back, I had the same thing and I couldn't hear. And that was just like mild reduction of hearing.
Mm-hmm.
But my god, that was tough. That
Painful?
was tough to. It wasn't painful like physically,
Painfully
but
tough.
mentally it
I
was.
meant
Yeah, it
painfully
was
tough.
pain. It was painful mentally. My god, I felt like I was going deaf. I felt like I had lost my senses.
I mean, it is kind of annoying to not be able to hear on one side and be able to hear on the other side. It's kind of like a.
It can throw you off pretty easily, but
Yeah.
again, especially with things like this in your house, oh.
I mean, at least they
That
have
is a
a
tough one.
dog, but the dog also didn't seem to act like anything happened. I'm kind of confused about that.
And I'm also confused about what's a flannel shirt.
A flannel shirt is like, I think it's like these. Never mind. I have the image in my head, but I'm not able to.
Sharon Tain Google.
Yes, I think, but I can always search Google.
I mean, go ahead.
I think it's
search,
a
I'd
checkered
be
shirt. That's what Google shows me.
checkered shirt.
Yeah.
Okay, a typical American shirt.
Yes.
American viewers, I'm not throwing shade at you, but yeah, I'm just telling.
But yeah, that's a flannel shirt. And what do you think? I mean,
See, there are two possibilities. Either, see, I don't believe in paranormal much, but yeah, as per what I have seen so far in my life, there are two explanations to this. Either a malicious spirit has attached itself to their to either one, like either the wife or the husband
right.
or the dog, possibly.
Could be. Very possible.
Yeah, or like she said, there was an older house before that got demolished and the current one got built on. Maybe that house had some kind
history to it, so
of, yeah, some
could
history,
be.
some deaths or something.
Yeah.
Possible. I mean, although I do not believe in paranormal, so I cannot tell that is the 100% thing, or that could just totally be an intruder in the house who has befriended the dog.
nice one.
Yep. Because dogs are pretty easy to
I
be
mean, they are
friended.
they are. It could pretty possibly be that, but then
Yep.
someone.
I mean, my dog would happily toss me out of the door if someone gave him a few biscuits.
Well, pretty intense story though.
Yep.
Mouthful, but pretty intense.
Yep. Do you have any thoughts about this one though?
See, like you said, it could be an intruder, but at least they should have seen that person at least once.
I mean, when they did a complete perimeter search or a sweep, as you say, I think they should have come across something at least. Because there are cases wherein people break into houses and stay in there without the owner's notice. So
Exactly.
But usually when they sweep the perimeter, they do find their belongings somewhere or the other.
Exactly, and like she said, when they did that perimeter sweep, they couldn't find anybody, and it's not natural for a person to just disappear in midair.
Yep, I wouldn't deny that.
Yeah. Well, whatever it is, as
I
long
don't
as
know.
it doesn't do them harm, let's just make peace with it, and you know.
I mean, that can get on your nerves at times,
It
you know.
can.
If you're alone at home and things like this happen and there is no one around, especially you have a physical impairment like hers, or much worse maybe, it could be tough. It can be really tough.
Whatever it was very thoughtful though, because it switched on the light for her so that she could pick up the hooks.
I mean, again, it could be someone friendly or it could be a friendly spirit or whatever.
Could be. Whatever
Yep.
it is.
Okay, the next story.
Shall we go to the next one? In 2012, while sitting in the living room with a sibling, we heard walking steps coming from upstairs. We turned off the television and approached the bottom of the stairs to listen closely. As the sound of footsteps walked back and forth, we became frightened and I reached for the telephone in the middle of the living room to call 911. In a moment of panic, I yelled that I was calling 911 and without realizing it, I actually dialed the number. After one ring, I realized I did not want to make the call, so I hung up. The footsteps continued, becoming louder and more distinct, as if someone was actually walking down the stairs. We were frozen, standing and looking towards the stairs, waiting for someone to appear. However, the footsteps seemed to pass right by us and continue into the room in front of us. We were too scared to move and waited for something to happen. Suddenly the sound stopped and we heard loud scratching sounds coming from the basement ceiling right under our feet, as if something was being torn apart and shredded. At that moment, the phone rang with a private number and I answered. It was the police department asking why I had called 911. I lied and said it was the baby. They said that they sent a cop as precaution, but no one ever showed up. Our parents arrived home a short while later, and we did not tell them about the incident until a couple of years later. To this day, we have never been able to explain what happened that day.
Well, what was the thing about the carpet thing? I couldn't
So
really make sense out
basically,
of that.
they heard footsteps, it went right past them, and then all of a sudden the sound stopped, and they could hear something from the basement, like someone was scratching the basement ceiling. The basement ceiling was connected to the above room, so they could hear the scratching on the basement ceiling, and it felt like something was being torn apart. So that's
No, this could be a possible case of an intruder.
footsteps though, like unexplainable footsteps walking right past them. I mean, they said it walked right past them.
Well, the acoustics of the house do play a huge role in the sound dynamic.
Makes sense.
So, I mean, if let's say if the acoustics were in such a way, I'm in this room, someone walks in that room, I feel like they're walking in this room.
Makes sense.
Just
Makes
the sound.
sense. It does.
Sound
make
is a tricky thing, my dude. I still haven't figured it out in like 3 years of YouTube.
Or it could, or it could just be a rat scratching the basement.
I don't know. Well, again, I don't want to be a total. What do you call that?
Debunker? I don't know.
No. I was just telling that word. Fucking hell, man.
It's okay. Take your time.
Never mind. Moving on to the next story. Do you have any thoughts about this story, Tushar?
I mean, it could be an intruder, or like I said, it could just be a rat or something scratching in the basement.
Well, we can't really explain much about this story. There's not
much to explain, just footsteps and scratching. So
Yeah, there's not much explained by the teller as well, or the narrator as well. Okay, paranormal or something else?
it was like 2 weeks ago, and I still don't know what it was. I was at my family house. It is a kind of a creepy and old house, like in a horror movie.
There you go, story explained, done.
So I sleep in the basement with some family members. So we spent a good time. Everyone went to sleep, and I decided to stay awake a little bit to finish my movie with my nephew. And out of nowhere, she says that she saw a dark figure beside me and pointing at me. I was scared because she was describing it so well, but she was only 4 years old and barely knew how to speak. The next day, she didn't remember. I was creeped out when I told the story to my sister. She didn't believe me. It didn't sit well with me, and I think it's an imaginary friend or a bad imaginary friend. Okay, the thing that ties this whole story up together is the fact that kids don't lie.
Kids don't lie. Kids cannot lie.
Yes. Kids cannot lie. Why
Not
would?
not up to a certain age wherein they know they are gonna get. If they don't lie.
This is a 4-year-old kid, I guess. It's a 4-year-old kid, yes.
4-year-old kid. I mean, she herself told that the kid could barely speak. So I don't see the point in the kid lying to her. So that could be something
Could
scary.
be.
Although kids do make up imaginary friends just to keep themselves occupied. So I have done that.
We all have done that. We all have
Yes.
had an imaginary friend at one point of time in our lives, and
Yep. I don't remember the physical features of my imaginary friend, but then I'm pretty sure I had many of them.
I had one guy. His name was John. He was a
She does remember that well.
teeny tiny guy. I remember.
She remembers well.
Yes, I do.
I had many. They varied from many shapes and sizes.
Yeah?
So yep.
Nice.
I've been convinced a being or / entity is in our house since we moved in. Okay, this is a fucking video.
This is a video.
Jackpot!
Okay, the video is gonna be on mute, guys. I hope you guys don't mind that. Alright, the video. So did I complete the title? No, I didn't. I've been convinced a being / entity is in our house since we moved in. Then caught this on a security camera. Cool. Just so you know, even I'm watching the video on mute.
Wait, what? Was the lady herself the entity? Let's watch that again. Oh,
Are we supposed to spot something in
I
here?
think that what is that flash? Is that
No, that flashes from the phone.
okay?
That's
What
an
else
IR
are we
blaster,
supposed
yeah.
to spot here?
If they are talking about this orb floating around, that could be an entity, but I don't see anything else other than that.
I have no idea, but it's
Or are we just missing the point? Is that lady the intruder?
it could be.
I have no idea, man. These videos confuse me. These videos have like zero context and zero explanation to them. I don't know. You guys tell me what you guys feel about this. Moving on to the next one. What could this be?
Where is it? Okay, yeah, got it. Alright. Here we go. This has always been in my memory, and I always just thought I was a kid, so I must have just made it up. But today a conversation with my brother revealed that it wasn't my imagination. When I was about 6 or 7 years old, my mum, my 2 brothers, and I lived in this house. I vividly, so vividly remember waking up in the middle of the night to the taps in the bathroom being on full. Not dripping, but going as fast as they can. Being 6 years old and not thinking anything of it really, I would hear it and get up and turn the taps off calmly and then go back to bed. This wasn't just once, it was every night. I also remember waking up to a dark figure standing at the end of the bed. This scared me, and I remember hiding under the covers until morning, not wanting him to see me. In the morning, I told my mum that I didn't like the dark man in my room. Not long after this incident, we moved. Today, when I was talking to my brother, he said, "Remember that house in town?" I said, "Oh yeah, the haunted one." He said, "Oh yes, remember the taps?" I was kind of taken aback because yes, of course I remember the taps, but it wasn't just me. I have mentioned it to my mum over the years, and she always had said, "Yeah, that was a bad house. But now it makes it sort of real that my brother, who would have been about 9 or so, remembered the taps as well. I mentioned it to Mum. I said he remembered the taps too. She was surprised because he never mentioned it to her either. She said, "What else do you remember?" I said about the dark figure. She also remembered me getting up in the morning and telling her about it. That was the reason we moved. I guess my question is, what could this be? A harmful spirit? Demon? Bad plumbing and a vivid imagination? I don't know. You guys decide.
Nah, I don't think it's not possible to have bad plumbing which will just automatically unwind the tap open.
Exactly.
Yeah. No matter how high the water pressure is, the tap is gonna fly out of the wall, but it's not gonna unwind itself. So there is no logical explanation here. The skeptic me. Skeptic. Now I remember the word. Skeptic.
Ting ting ting.
Yes. The skeptic me has no explanation for this. So the scared me would say, okay, this could be something haunted. I have no explanation for this.
A possible explanation for the dark figure could be sleep paralysis, but
possible. That is scientifically possible.
But the taps, no, I have no explanation. This reminds me of the time my doorbell would malfunction.
If there are any plumbers watching, please do let me know if that can really happen. Like taps unwinding and opening by themselves. So if you've done plumbing enough, you must be knowing that already. So I'm guessing you guys can clear that out in the comment section.
Besides, I don't think this guy has mentioned if the taps would turn on at a particular time or just be the same throughout the entire day.
I mean, yeah. No, I think he had told it would turn on in the night.
In the night?
And he would just turn it off and go back to bed.
That is weird.
Much about it.
That is weird.
Yep. Okay. You guys let me know what you guys think about this. I mean, let us know.
There is a comment section as wide as possible on YouTube, so go ahead and...
Yep. Most of the time it's just blank,
it's
guys.
just
Come on,
blank,
fill it up.
Please. So,
is anyone familiar with this type of shadow person? Anyway, so next story. Is anyone familiar with this type of shadow person? Sharon, please do the honors.
The house I grew up in has also had undeniably weird things happening. One of the earliest examples of this was when I was young. Between the years 1988 to 1990, I would see the same shadow people coming out of my parents' bathroom. There were two I remember vividly, but there were others too. The two I remember most were a boy and a girl, about 17 years old. They were holding a cup in their hand, and I always imagined them as being at a party. The weird thing was how they moved. They walked in a glitchy, stop-motion kind of way, and then would fade away only to walk out of the bathroom the same way again. I remember staring at them and even rubbing my eyes, but they would always be there. I told my mom, but she told me it was my imagination. Years later, I asked my sister, and she described seeing the same thing, and even told my mom about it, separate from me knowing. Any thoughts on why they... Wait, what? Any thoughts on why they... Okay, why? He meant why, sorry. Any thoughts on why they would perpetually be walking out of a room together? Has anyone experienced anything similar? I haven't.
Well, there is a common pattern going on over here. All these sightings were made by the narrator when they were young. And we do know that young kids are capable of seeing things which older people cannot. Seeing, hearing. So, could be a logical explanation to that. Scientifically, it's been proven that kids are more sensitive to
Seeing stuff,
light
hearing stuff.
and sound. Yeah, kids are more sensitive to light and sound. So visible things are light and sounds are sounds anyway. So yeah.
Why could that be though? Why only kids? Is there like an explanation for
The
that?
scientific reason behind that is when kids are born, their nerve endings are pretty fresh and pretty unused. It's just a basic. Okay, let me give you an example. When you use a new bike, the bike's tires are pretty good. It has a good bite on the road. It grips pretty well. As and when it starts getting worn out, you lose the grip. It's just the same way.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yep. As and when you grow old, your nerve endings start wearing out and you perceive less in terms of sound and light.
Again, another weird thing about is that both the brother and sister noticed it. So,
Yep. Alright. The next story.
okay.
Something laid on my bed to comfort me during the night.
I have been down with the
Yeah.
I have been down with a really bad case of bronchitis this week, and I have done nothing except lay in bed. I was so sick that I had my ex come pick up our dog because I couldn't take care of him. Last night was the worst I ever felt. At some point, I vividly remember the feeling of something jumping
All
on the
these
bed.
people vividly remember, don't they?
I vividly remember feeling something jump on the bed and lay along my legs. I assumed it was my roommate's dog. The room was pitch black, so I couldn't see. It was very comforting though. My bed is in front of a window, and both dogs love to lay on my bed and watch out the window, so it is not uncommon for either dog to be in my room, as I always leave the door cracked for them to come and go. I thanked my roommate this morning for putting his dog in my room last night, and he gave me a really strange look. He said his dog was with him in his room the entire night and that he didn't want to disturb me. So I'm not sure what laid by me last night.
Another dog.
Another cute little dog, probably from the other side of the world, who's come to comfort you, maybe? Because dogs are precious creatures.
Yep. Because
The reason
dogs,
why I picked this
unconditional love.
story in the first place, I don't know if you remember Diablo. I don't know if you remember me telling you that I once felt as if something just placed its head beside my pillow, like right next to my head.
I do.
That was creepy.
And that was somewhere around last year, I guess.
Last year sometime, I was actually fast asleep and I just felt...
Yeah, during the summer, I remember.
Yeah, and I just felt something just place its head on my pillow, which is exactly why I turned my head to check what it was, but there was nothing.
Nothing at all. I have felt once the same thing on my bed. Same spot like in the story. Something like near my leg. I told you, I guess we were on the call.
We were on the call, yes.
And yeah, and then I was just lying down. The room was not dark. I had this light over here on the shelf light. So my room is never dark in the nights because I kind of get claustrophobic when it's pitch black. So this light was on and I was lying down as usual on my bed and I suddenly felt like my cat jumped on to my bed. You guys already know I have 2 cats. So I thought one of them jumped on the heavy one. And that's usually not the case because I usually leave the cats outside my room because I've got equipments in here. They can mess it up in the night when I'm sleeping. So when I wake up, like I wasn't sleeping as per se. I was just lying down and resting my head. And as I said, I was on a call. I looked down when I felt it. There was nothing. I just went through a mental note thinking, yeah, I had locked the door. The cats cannot get in. But when I looked, there was nothing. So I was like, whatever.
If something had to happen, it would have happened by now.
Yeah. My common logic is just, you want to kill me, just kill me. I don't even care.
I mean, it's kind of common. You want to do something, do something. If something had to happen,
Yeah,
it
just
would
do
have
it.
happened.
Yeah, just do it. I'm tired. I don't have the strength to fight this. I'm tired. Go ahead. Do whatever you want. Okay then. I think that's all for today's video. If you guys enjoyed, again, please do consider hitting that like. It does help the algorithm quite a lot. And comment if you guys have any questions or any kind of doubts related to this, or if you guys have experienced something like this, we would love to. Yep, we would love to showcase it in our next video. This is a podcast format of video, so we will try our best to explain whatever we can. Reactions, we don't do it much because we don't have
a
much
lot to
of
react
time
on
window.
in life.
Yeah, no, we don't have a big time window to react
Yeah.
and explain
Yes,
stuff. So this is a proper explanation slash kind of. So yeah, you guys get the idea. Again, subscribe if you guys are new around here. If you guys are revisiting our channel, turn on all notifications and stay notified for when we upload new
Yes.
videos. Until next time, guys, stay safe. Love you all.
Stay awesome.
Stay awesome, man. Thanks for watching. And good
And
night.
good night.